All right, we're live. We're on the internet. My water bottle's in the background.
Details.
I know. This is Karanda Adair with Carvel Digital. If y'all don't know me, I founded Carvel Digital back in 2013, making $500 websites. And I will skip the long journey to now, where I'm a certified automation service provider, and we help mission-driven service-based businesses to build marketing systems that can allow them to scale without burning out in the process. And I am here with Ashley Pendergraft from Systems Over Stress. And Ashley, I'm going to have you introduce yourself, but I want to kind of just tell the story of how I came into your world. And I think we met inside of like a mastermind, or we were like in the same circles. And I had discovered Airtable, and I just sort of came to know that like you were the Airtable queen, and you were still operating under Do the Damn Thing. And I was like, let me go see what she's doing with Airtable, because I'm pretty good with Airtable, and we have the whole pot of gold, which is our system for like managing and repurposing content. And I was like, I feel pretty good about my Airtable skills. And so then I went and I saw what you were doing with Airtable, and I was like, okay, yeah, no, maybe I'm not the one. And I remember the specific email. So you have Systems Over Stress, which is your group program for helping people like manage their group programs with Airtable. And I remember the specific email that you sent where I was like, shit, I'm joining that program. I was like, all right, just let me know curious when it's open. Like, it was, you sent a whimsical, it was a preview of a whimsical board of how you like document all the systems that you're building. And I was like, yeah, that's it. And I'm done. So then, yeah, I joined Systems Over Stress. We've implemented, the sales hub, the launch hub, the group program hub. We've implemented those things, for ourselves. I was running a group program at the time, Content Bootcamp, and it's been great. And then I realized like so many of our clients need what you were doing. And the last launch that you had for the group program, I was literally like, I was on Instagram, I was putting it in stories, I was emailing, I was like messaging clients directly and being like, you need to go get into this thing so that you can have these bases, and then we'll set them up for you. And then you started an agency, and I was like, great, here, just take it all. So that's like our kind of introduction to you. But introduce yourself and kind of tell the story of how you got to where you are now and what you're focusing on.
Yeah. So my name is Ashley. I've been in this world, I guess like 3, almost 4 years now. And I started as like a general systems expert. My first like little baby course was called Be Your Own COO. And it was like inbox management and file management. And it had a couple Airtable templates in it. And I have ADHD, and I had never really understood. I didn't know at the time I had ADHD, but I was like hyper focused on Airtable. I was like, all I want to now talk about is Airtable. I was like, I was just obsessed with all of the things it could do. And it really felt like I have done like, I've been an event producer. I run systems and ops for like nonprofits, for rock bands, all these things. And I just like wish I had Airtable back in the day. Like I hated spreadsheets. Airtable was like the magical new thing. And this was in 2019. And I was like, all I want to do is talk about Airtable. What if I did an Airtable 101 workshop? And like my mentors were like, nobody cares about a software. Like they just want like the transformation. I was like, let me just try. So I did like an Airtable 101 workshop, and it was like the most signups I had ever gotten. And my like big thing that I was selling, I was like, send me your spreadsheets and I'll just show you how they could be better in Airtable. And that really kind of started my journey. So 2020 on, I have been like the internet's Airtable girl. So I can build absolutely anything in Airtable. I think every business owner, it's like an absolute requirement of their tech stack. But when I'm in the coaching world and like in the online course creator world, Airtable is great for so many things, but it's so great for managing your group programs and scaling those group offers and enhancing your program so you get better client results. Like there is so much, which I'm sure we'll get into. But so I've kind of really just like pivoted. I've been systems the whole time, and then I was Airtable, and now I've just really kind of niche down into supporting course creators and online group program founders to manage the delivery and the operations, and the onboarding, offboarding, and re-sign of their group programs all inside of Airtable.
Okay. And of course, I skipped a big step, and I would like to hear your explanation for this. When people ask you, what is Airtable? How do you explain it?
Yes. So how I explain it is, at its core, it is a database. And if it depends on if that like makes people like scratch their head, I kind of step back a little bit and I'm just like think about your most organized spreadsheet, and also how like how bad it is to be in that spreadsheet, even when it's like at its peak. And how I really describe it is that Airtable becomes the source of truth for your business, for your group program. So that's what a database is. It holds everything about your students, like their forms. I like to say, like, you have spreadsheets and you have Google Forms. Those don't really talk to each other. So you just have floating data all around your Google Drive. Airtable, as that source of truth, can help you bring it all together. So you have one central place to look, one central place to train your team. So that's kind of how I describe it in a nutshell.
Yeah. And when I get new clients and they have spreadsheets and they're showing me and I'm going and looking at, the minute I want to just take a column and just drag it over so it's next to something else, and I'm just like, oh, I
Yep.
can't. you know.
A client of mine, one of
Um
my favorite things, a client of mine, a contract of her sent her a spreadsheet, and she just responded like, "It is not the 18th century. Like, we work in Airtable. Like, this needs to be an Airtable like tomorrow." I was like, "It's working," because once you're in it, you're like realize, wow, like spreadsheets are not it. Like, let's move this all into Airtable. So that's really fun.
100%. Okay, so I have watched, like, it's been really a pleasure to kind of watch your journey and watch your messaging change, because you went from, okay, I have a group program and I'm going to teach you how to do this, which is fine for me because like we tech for a living. I can go in there and like tech
Yep.
with the best of them. And I literally said to clients, I'm like, just go join and we'll set up your bases, but then you'll have the support when you have the questions, right? And now you've moved into being an agency where you're doing VIP days for people. Like, talk about that transition and like, how did that come about?
Yeah, so I did VIP days at the start when I started becoming the Airtable girl. I did VIP days. That was my main thing. Then I wanted to scale, so I went into a group program, and VIP days just inherently like weren't scalable for me. And I was like, I'm never going to do these again. And then what happened was we did a launch of Systems Over Stress, the group program, and our pay in full bonus was we'll set up your sales hub for you. And my operations manager, my delivery assistant, she set up 30 sales hubs by herself during the launch. And I was like, did we just become an agency? Like, other people can set this up for me? Like, I had no idea. Like, it was just like a happy accident that I was like, oh, she can set up bases. This could be an agency. We did all of those for free. That was just like included in the group program. And so once that was kind of shown to me, and my coach is like very pro agency, I decided to try it. It's been a huge like learning curve. There is so much that Airtable can do, and there is just that balance of wanting to set things up but without overwhelming people. And I think as like tech
Mhm.
specialists, that is the delicate balance of like, yay, we set it all up. And they're like, I don't know how to use any of this. Like, this is horrifying. And so that's the things that we have to navigate. But people were just, once I got rid of the VIP days and started the group program, people were asking me, will you set this up for me? And I'm like, no, you should go through the program. Anyone can do it. And I think we have to like step back and be okay with like, not everybody can do this or wants to do this or has the time to do it. So you can pay me and my team to set it up for you. So I had to like
Mhm.
get out of my own way and like allow people to pay us to set it up for them.
I so relate, because I went through a whole phase where I probably spent a good 3 months building a course to teach people how to create their own WordPress website. And I was like, it's drag and drop. It's fine. You can do it. And it's like, no, some people just cannot do it and
Yep.
they should just pay. Yeah. So talk about some of the results that like the before and after of like, because I'll start actually, because I know that now one of my big frustrations is that we have a sales hub. So like I have an Airtable and I have the interface where we can go and just say, show me all the sales from August of 2022. And then you can flip a button and see August of 2020, like, and my clients don't have that. And it's really frustrating because the work that we're doing on the marketing side is we want to see, like, are you getting results? Are you getting increased sales? Are you getting increased leads? And they don't have a hub to be able to see like all these things in one place. They're like, oh, let me go log into Thrivecart and let me go log into QuickBooks. And then it's like, again, it's like, it's not the 18th century. Like, let's collect all this data in one place. So just talk about some of the transformations, like from your other clients and what that's been like.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just the speed in which you can make decisions when everything is in one place. So exactly what you're just talking about. Like if you are on a call with your coach and they say, how much money did you make last August? You could be like, oh, hold on, let me pull up Stripe and then let me pull up Dubsado and then let me pull up Thrivecart and like piece them all together. And then that reporting would be out of date the moment you create, you export the CSV. But when we bring everything into one central source of truth inside of Airtable, then all of that data is live. So you can answer any question you have about your business whenever you want. And I think that is something that is so powerful. And also when all the data is in one place, like you can see, we're talking about the sales hub, every product is inside of your sales hub, every sale is. So you can see, whoa, like this product that I spent 0 time making, this $19 product has brought in $20,000 in revenue. And this thing that I like spent so much time on has barely brought in anything. And it helps you make those like data-driven decisions without the pressure of having to like make all those reports, have your VA make all those reports and all of that.
Mm-hmm. And I see that Chris Davis is watching live. Hey, Chris.
Yay!
And I remember him telling a similar story in one of our weekly calls that like, he just kind of got this inkling like, oh, maybe I need to change this up. And then he looked at the data and it was like, oh no, you need to keep going.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about, well, okay, there's a couple of things. One is we're talking a lot about data, right? Airtable is database. We're talking about creating a central source of truth, and creating that source of truth requires automating the movement of data. And I think like in my work with clients and just in looking at, the conversations I have with other entrepreneurs, I think a lot of business owners do not understand how important it is to be able to move their data around. Can you just talk about that for a second?
Yes. Not like you should be able to export your data whenever you want, however you want. Dubsado, I'm coming for you. You can't export shit out of that thing. And it's so frustrating. And what's really the biggest thing for Karandah and I is like, we love the central source of truth, but not all softwares are created equal when it comes to automations. So there's like literal platforms where you can't set up a Zap to add them into your Airtable base, or you can't when there's a failed payment update that. Like there's so many, whenever I'm looking at a new software, I don't look at the pricing page first. I don't look at anything. I go to Zapier and see if it has Zapier integrations. And that really helps me like lead my decisions. If there's a new sexy platform on the market and it's, half the cost of something else, but it doesn't have Zapier automations, it's going to cost me so much more time and manual work and labor and all of these things. So it's just not worth it. So the like creating the unified tech stack and making sure that tech stack can scale with you is super important, because you realize, you set something up, you're like, yay, it works for now. Oh, let me try to pull this data. Let me try to move it around. And you just can't. And it's a really like binding place to be.
Yeah. I always liken it to, going into like a relationship that seems good at the beginning. And then you find out like, it's not, like you're trapped basically. And, Dubsado is definitely on my list for that. And I think if you're watching this and you're not, technical and you don't tech for a living and you want a way to think about this, really, I think about it in open systems and closed systems, right? So there's software out there that are open systems, which means they make it easy for you to export your data, they connect with things like Zapier, or they have native integrations to connect to other apps because they understand that you need to move your data around. And then there are closed systems that have really great marketing and really great user bases. And so like, I'm always saying like, please don't take tech advice from your coach. Like, unless your coach is Ashley, right? It's like the coaches are all just like, oh yeah, we use Kajabi. Everybody should use Kajabi. And it's like, they're not technical. They're just using what their coach told them to use. And so I'm always trying to get people to take this seriously in terms of you need to start thinking about, especially if you're, let's say you're at the, 250 mark in revenue and you want to scale, you need to start thinking about an integrated tech stack and not just like going on Facebook and saying like, what's a good tool for X? And I've been seeing this more and more.
I hate those posts.
Oh, I hate them so much. So much.
I think something else that I want to just add to this is I like to give people like agency and say, you can't, if you stay in Kajabi, here's what that means for you. You can't really easily do projected payments, like kick people out. Like you can't, like, here are the limitations. And some people do decide my budget is at a place where I can't, like my budget or my timeline, or I'm willing to have a team member do manual work so I don't have to do that migration. And I'm like, great. It's almost like a disclaimer. As I understand that things will be harder if I use this software. I'm like, cool. As long as you know and you feel good about that decision, keep cruising. And like, we can do as much as we can, but I do want to make, like, I want people to be like as informed as possible. Like if you want to scale and automate to the gills, like this isn't it.
Isn't it? Yeah. And that same. It's like my problem isn't that people use the tools. It's that they don't know what they're getting into when they make the decision. And so that's my beef. And that's why I'm on the soapbox of like, look, you're going to go into this thing. And if it's like for now, this is what you can handle. You're a baby business owner, whatever, that's fine. But understand what you're giving up and just know, like when you get your glow up or you outgrow this tool, this is what you're going to be facing. Right.
Yeah.
And that's the same message that I'm trying to get out to people is just know before you go. Right.
Yeah. And I think Active Campaign is such a interesting example of that, because I only, and you'll probably kill me through this, only recently am I looking at, can I export all of my campaign metrics and just pop them into Airtable? And I'm like, ConvertKit can't do that. Kajabi can't do that. Like all of them at a time. And I was like, can Active Campaign? And I was so grateful to see like, yes, Active Campaign can do it. Like it is, and it's possible. And so that was just even understanding those things. And I talked to a friend, I was like, don't use Kajabi because the click rates don't like do the reporting. She's like, honestly, like I'm not going to be looking at reporting probably for the next like 6 months in my business. And I just like need to make this decision. So this is the path I'm going to go down. I was like, okay. Like, so it really depends on where people are at.
Yeah, totally. So, okay. So I've got a hit list of things that I just like steer people away from as far as like closed networks. Dubs. I put a post on Facebook once and it just said an escape room, but for people trying to leave Dubsado. And that thing just blew up. So Dubsado, right. Mighty Networks, Kajabi, those are the Kajabi, I think not as bad as some of the others, but definitely don't use it for email. So let's talk about like the other side of that. What are some things that you're like, oh, this is juicy. You should definitely use this because we can suck all the data out of it and we can put it into our one source of truth.
Yes. So I will say like, I like the all-in-one platforms are lying to you all of the time. There is not one all-in-one platform that can do everything. And some of those all-in-one platforms can do one thing really well. Like I personally still use Dubsado only for contracts and invoices. Absolutely nothing else. I'm on Kajabi only for the course platform. And so it's really like understanding. I'm not like totally like anti these things, but it's understanding how can they fit into a fully like optimized scalable tech stack. But things that I really like, I mean, I do not know of a better checkout platform than Thrivecart. The things you can do with that thing, like the automations and just there's so much robust data you can pull out of it. You can't pull out a lot of robust data with Learn, which is their course platform, which they've closed that network. Like they're like, We don't want you to automate because we want you to do Thrivecart and learn together. And that's frustrating to me. However, there are workarounds, but I think Thrivecart is huge. Obviously, Airtable. What else have I been into? Vimeo is huge because of the ability to, like, once you're done with a Zoom recording, it can just like automatically go to Vimeo, and there can be a Zap integration that like sends it to a call like recording database in your Airtable. So that's like a really nice loop. So that's my favorite like video hosting platform.
Yeah. I only learned about that Zoom to Vimeo thing about a year ago, and I was big mad. I was like, wait, how come nobody told me about this?
Yeah, and it's great because you can set like Zoom like cracked down on like the recording limits. I don't know if y'all like back in the day, it's like you've used 4,000% of your Zoom recording limits, but we don't care. And then they finally were like, we really do care. Actually, you can now set it up so like they go straight to Vimeo, and you can auto delete them from your like cloud storage in Zoom. And so that was like a really great workaround. Like I don't even have to think about it. Like I can keep my low storage limit in Zoom. It's in Vimeo, and it's all chill.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that definitely all of those that you named. And I know you have a whole podcast episode. So we have to give a shout out to your new podcast, Systems Famous, which I listen to every episode. And you recently were on there with Damaju talking about Thrivecart. So definitely go check out Systems Famous podcast and that episode in particular. One of my, you talked about Learn not being so friendly. One of my learning management tools that I'm ride or die for is MemberVault. And MemberVault is very friendly when it comes to, connecting really, really deeply with your email platform so that you can know like, oh, somebody finished this course and you can, or this module or this lesson, and you can do cool gamification things, and you can unlock surprises for people based on their engagement and all that good stuff. So that's definitely one of my go-tos. And I want to make a plug too for for, if not Active Campaign, some kind of CRM, because in my world where we're really focused on building the marketing system and being able to do like automation that reacts to what the subscribers are actually doing, like the behaviors and the actions that they're taking, it's really important that all data, or as much data as possible, can go back to your CRM. So, the progress that people have inside your course, or them visiting your sales page a bunch of times but not buying, or, things like that. Those are the things that we want to be able to either capture or monitor so that we can set up automations that can be like really a little digital salesperson for you. So I'm going to give a plug for Active Campaign for that. Any others?
What else am I into? I'm trying to keep my tech stack pretty lean. I really like Softer. Softer, I've been a huge fan of just for how easy it is to integrate with Airtable. So we have a community platform. So like we don't use Circle, we don't use Mighty Networks. We have like support ticketing database inside of my group program. And like we just have these different things, features in the program that are powered by Airtable. And Softer basically lets us build like a custom membership platform for our own programs. So we have like a custom app for our students. We also have a custom app for our one-on-one clients. So on the back end of Airtable, we have our clients and their projects, and we also have all their recordings. The uploads are automatically added to the back end of Airtable, and the front end of Softer has like this beautifully branded portal for them. So that's been really fun to play with. And another amazing form builder I've been using is called Fillout. Fillout is the best form builder. Get out of here Typeform, get out of here anything else. And one of the reasons I love it so much is that you create the fields inside of your Airtable first, and it automatically integrates inside of Fillout. So you aren't creating the form and then auto mapping, like manually mapping them into Airtable. You're actually starting with Airtable fields first. And so it's just a really like seamless loop that you can do multi-pages. You can there's just so much you can do. So if Airtable forms have ever been limiting to you, or if like Typeform has been too cumbersome, Fillout is like a really great alternative.
I'm so glad you said that, because I did notice, I went to one of your pages and I was like, what is this Fillout thing? And I haven't really like dived into it, but awesome. I definitely need to. I'll have to go check out like what other integrations. So I want to do a little show and tell before we wrap it up, because just to kind of bring home the idea of closed system, open system, and the limitations. So let me see if I can share my screen. Here we go. Present. And we're going to go here. And so I actually went to Zapier and I looked at all of the integrations and
Look
like
at this
mapped out the
interface.
triggers. I know. Aren't you proud? So I was like, I want to know what the triggers and the actions are for, you know, like Mighty Networks. I was looking at Mighty Networks and Circle and Member Vault. And so not just like the number, right? So you can see like Mighty Networks has the least number of triggers and the least number of actions. And this is Member Vault. This is the zaps in this third column versus the native actions of like connecting with your email platform. So not only can you see the number, but then it's like, what is it that you can actually do? So those are connected to, you know, if I say, I want to see, it's Matt. Okay. So I want to see Mighty Networks triggers. And so now this list will go down and you can see what the trigger actually is, right? So not only are the numbers small, but then the actual things that you can do are just not that useful, right?
Yeah.
And then this one over here is connected. So you could say, okay, well, show me Circle and show me Zap triggers. And now you can have like a direct comparison so that you can make an informed decision about, am I willing to limit myself to just these things over here? Or am I like, is my imagination suddenly going wild with all the things that you could do with this other
This
tool?
is so cool.
Yeah. So I'm working on some long form content around this because I don't want clients showing up. I hate having that conversation where they're all excited about their thing and you have to tell them like, this isn't the thing that's going to take you where you want to go. And so I just, you know, my Chris is sending a big wow face. So this is my attempt, you know, creating more content around this so that you can, so like people can be educated more like as they're coming in to know like, okay, I know these are the things that I call it tech Sadville, right? These are things that are going to take me to tech Sadville. These are the things that are probably going to, you know, take me to my $1 million business or wherever you want to go. So I hope this has been informative for y'all. I always have so much fun. Just I do miss the group program and the calls and just being able to like nerd out every week and like do show and tell. So I need to get back into the community. But so two things. One, let me pop your website up here. So if you are wanting to know more about Airtable, if you're a group program founder, or you have a course and you want to get your systems life together, and I don't think you understand, Ashley, like how often I say your name to people to you, because this is going to become the industry standard, y'all. Okay. Like I can tell when I go into a program if they've worked with Ashley or they haven't. And that's going to become like, it's true. And that's going to become more apparent. So if you want to get on the train now, and get your stuff together, head on over to Systems Over Stress and check out her offers. And you're revamping the group program, right? So maybe you want to, you know, put your VA or your OBM through Systems Over Stress and have them create your systems, right? That's a fine way to go. And then if you are kind of feeling like, oh, okay, now I understand that I need to get my tech stack together, but I don't really have the expertise to do that, or I'm not sure, you know, how to do that. I have a power hour. I'm going to put this up. And this is just something like I've had it on the sly. I haven't really publicized it, but I'm starting to realize people actually really, really need this. Just someone who has the expertise to come in and look at what you are doing and say, okay, this part is good. Like these things are going to play together. This one, not such a great team member. Let's replace that and really help you design. And so if you book a power hour, then you get an hour with me and we go through and we look at everything that you're doing and all the processes in your business. And we really design that integrated tech stack. And the nice thing is, you know, you'll get an Airtable with all of my suggestions, including referrals for, you know, if you need web developers, if you need like other professional folks, and I have those people in my network, then you'll get that list. And then, you have it in your pocket. Maybe it's not something that you implement on, right away, but at least and you no longer have to go into Facebook groups and say, oh, what's a good CRM, right? Because you're not going to get great advice from doing that, because those people don't know the specifics of your business. They don't know the tech expertise on your team. It's just a bad thing to do. So, I have had so many people come to me in my career, especially as a web developer, having wasted easily $25K or more, hiring the wrong web developer or the wrong designer, getting a website that actually wasn't going to work for them. So a little bit of investment up front can save you from all of that. And Chris actually told us a story this week that he saved a company $8,000 a month just from getting them on the right plan for a piece of software. So it's really, really, really important.
Something I love about, I'm so happy you're doing this and offering this, is you talk a lot about considering your tech as team members. So imagine having a VA that is fine, and then you 4 months in realize, oh no, the thing that they just built, I have to tear up and start over again. That's what you're doing when you pick some of this software that isn't the most scalable. And like Karonda said, it's a waste of time to go into a Facebook group and ask what's the best email marketing platform, because there is so much context, and how does that play with the other things that you have. So I have had friends in my box being so overwhelmed with the tech decisions that they don't launch their course because they don't know which course platform to go with. And that can, if you're really stuck in that place, just get the power hour, make the decisions, and then you can trust that you are building your home on a really strong foundation.
Yeah. And one of the things I'm most proud of just in my career in general is when I go back to clients that I've had a year ago, 2 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, they're still using the things that we put them on, and they've been able to change and grow with their business. So I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to recommend things for right now, and I'm going to recommend things that, will take you into the future. So Ashley, thank you so much for taking the time. And I'm always so excited to hang out together. Thank you for all the folks who are watching live and all the folks who are hitting up the replay. Be sure to put your questions and your comments. Tell us what tech you're using. Tell us what tech you're going to leave now that you saw this. And definitely go check out Systems Over Stress. Definitely go book the Power Hour if you need that. And we will see you on the internet.
Bye.